Hi everyone, in this video I am going to talk about comparison of Snowflake table types. In my previous video I explained about how to create these different table types. If you see here the tables, three different tables in Snowflake: temporary table, transient table and permanent table. And also there is one more table called external table. Okay, I am going to talk about external table in separate video. Now let's see the comparison in terms of the table persistency, cloning, time travel retention period in days, fail safe period. Okay, here cloning and the basic difference between cloning and time travel retention period. Cloning is nothing but zero copy, where we can take backup of data at the present, whereas time travel retention period is nothing but we can take the data but historical data backup. That is the main difference. And fail safe period means it is not in our control. I mean, once the time travel retention period ends, then fail safe period will start. Okay, now time if you see here, temporary table, persistence is reminder of the session. That means the moment when you close your session, then this table also will drop automatically. Okay, cloning. Temporary to temporary, you can clone the any table from temporary to temporary, and also temporary to transient. The time travel retention period default is 1. If you don't specify, uh, okay, and if you want to if you specify the parameter, time travel retention period is 0, then the time travel period will be 0 for the temporary table. And for temporary table, fail safe period is not applicable. I mean, that means it is 0. And transient, this transient table until explicitly dropped by you. So when you drop this table, then only it will not available, otherwise it will always available. And we can clone this table transient to temporary, transient to transient. The same way, time travel retention period also default 1, and other values 0 1 1. Fail safe period for transient also 0. Now permanent table we can compare in terms of edition, like standard edition or enterprise edition and higher. So standard edition, the persistence is the same until explicitly dropped, and cloning also is same. Like you can clone the permanent table, permanent to temporary, permanent to transient, permanent to permanent, irrespective of edition. However, if you see, time travel retention period for standard edition is the same as temporary and transient. Like default is 1 or 0 or 1, and fail safe is the 7. Whereas permanent table for enterprise edition and higher, if you see, the default is configurable. That means we can configure how many days we want by using the configuration parameter, or parameter name is time travel retention period in days. Okay, it could be the 0 to 90 days, and fail safe period is the 7 days. Let's go to the demo and we'll see the how this will looks like. Yeah, so here I am going to use the database dev underscore ra, and I will this data retention time in days can set at the database level or schema level, also table level, that means object level. Let me show you the what is the retention period per database level. If you see this one, database name is the dev underscore ra, owner is the sysadmin, and if you see the column retention period, or last column retention period, this is 1. That means if you don't specify while creating any object from this table, that means only retention period will be applicable only 1. If you specify other than 1, then you know database level retention period will be overridden. Okay, now let me create the schema in this database, and then we will create the tables. So now schema table underscore type successfully created. Okay, just now we have created, so that make sure that there no objects are present here. Yes. Now what I'm going to do here, create permanent table with time travel retention period in days. Like I'm going to create the five tables with the different data retention time in days. This is the parameter which you need to provide while creating object like table. So here I am going to create the table, my table, without any value, like just normal table. Okay, and then I am going to create the retention period is equal to 0 option here. Okay, now I am going to create the retention period is the 1, and also another table my table underscore 30 days. 30 retention period will be 30 days. And another table I am going to create, table called my table underscore 90. The retention period is 90 days. So I have created the five tables. Now let me show you the how these values are in the database. See, if you see these nine five tables. Okay, my table I didn't specify anything, but retention time is the 1. So that means default it is 1. My table 0, I specified the retention period as 0, hence it is the 0. And my table I specified only 1, so the retention period is 1. And here I am using the my Snowflake edition is the standard, not standard enterprise edition. Okay, that's why we can see my table underscore 30, for this table retention period is the 30 days, so that this table will hold the historical data up to 30 days. And my table underscore 90, the retention period is 90 days. That means this table can have the 30 90 days historical data. Okay, this is how you have to see set the data retention time in days. Okay, now what I'm going to do as a, okay, yeah, let me insert the data into my table with values 1 2 3. This table having two columns, like column 1 and column 2. Column 1 is the number data type and column 2 is the date. So let me insert the three rows into this table. Inserted, and I'm going to show you the how many rows have been inserted here. This is the data where three rows have been inserted into my table, and I'm going to delete the one row where column number is equal to 2, and I'm going to capture the last query ID. Okay, last query ID is nothing but a statement ID. So in any database, if you execute any query or any statement, so for that statement one ID will be generated. So a similar way in Snowflake also, whenever you execute any SQL statement or any procedure, whatever it may be, so one ID will be generated for that. So how do you get that ID? Like by using the last underscore query underscore ID function. By using this, you can get it the recent query which has been executed from the session. So here this is the value. Now after this I am going to update the one of the row, that is called column 1 is equal to 3. So I updated, and also I am going to take the query ID for this one. I will tell you why, where I am going to use these query ID. Okay, now let me execute the below one. Okay, see, this is basically table function. So information underscore schema dot query underscore history by session, so that instead of executing the last underscore query underscore id, if you want to display all the statement ids which have been executed from this session, so by using this table function query underscore history underscore by session, you can get the all the state statement or query ids. Okay, now what I'm going to do, I will check the data by using the time travel. Okay, this is the time travel where we can get the data, historical data. By using the time travel is nothing but a enables accessing the historical data. Historical data is nothing but a data that has been changed or deleted at any point within a defined period. So here I defined period per normal table is the 1, so that let me execute this one. Select star from my table at offset, we can apply the time travel at the after table at or before. Okay, and inside that you can use the three types of parameters: offset, timestamp, and statement. So that's why I have taken the statements previously. Okay, now let me execute this one. Here if you see, total we have inserted three rows. Okay, here we have deleted one row and updated one row. So this is the, okay, we have seen this data. Now let me execute the 10 minutes ago. What will happen? See, this is the error. See, time travel data is not available for the table, my table. The requested time is either beyond the allowed time travel period or before the object creation time, because this object has created 5 minutes ago, but we are checking the 10 minutes ago. That means the time travel data is now not available. Okay, please note this one. This is, one of the thing you need to remember while executing the time travel, while firing the time travel. Okay, now I am going to the show you how to get the data based on the you know query id. So we have captured the two query ids here. What I have before, after deleting, I have captured the statement id. By using the statement id we can, sorry, what is that, my table. So here compilation error, my table does not exist or not authorized. Why? So let me check out here now. Before 1 minute, what was the data over here? Two rows only. Before 4 minutes, let me check what was the data. That same. And before 8 minutes, maybe. Now no, 8 minutes. Table not yet created. Okay, by the time 6 minutes. Let me check this. 6 minutes. So yeah, 6 minutes. Just now table created that time. Now let me create the 5 minutes. So 5 minutes also. Yeah, 5 minutes also after deleting. Now let me use the 6 minutes. 0. 6 minutes means, by the time we didn't insert the data. Okay, that is the, and here, yeah, let me remove the underscore. That is why my table without my table. Now if you see here, by using this statement we have a three. This statement I captured after deleting. So now I am checking the before this statement id. That means here I deleted one statement. After that, I captured the query ID. So before this one, how many values are there? Actually, three values. That means, before deleting, three values are there in this table. Three rows. Now, if now same after deleting here, if you, where exactly? Yeah, sorry. Yeah, here. Okay, three rows are there. Okay, now what I did, I mean, I captured one more query id over here, this one after updating. So now let me check the after updating the what is the actual data, historical data from this table. If you see here two rows, because I updated, I mean 33 as a 30, but here I got the 3. That means I captured, I have captured the query id. Okay, before this query id, this query id is nothing but a update query id. So before update what was the actual value, so this is the 3 is there. So like that you can get the historical data by using the time travel feature, which is the most powerful in the Snowflake. Okay, this is the now let me insert the, you know, uh, insert the 3 rows, whereas for this table we configure the time travel as the time travel retention period as the 0. So for that let me insert the 3 rows same way. Now let me delete the data from this table, one row where column is equal to column 1 value is equal to 2, and let me capture the query id for this one. Capture the query id here, and then let me update the third row, I mean column 1 is equal to 3, where column 1 is equal to 3 as the 30. Okay, instead of 3 I'm going to updated. Now let me capture the query id for this also. Okay, so here let me try with before minute, off minute. Yeah, so before off minute it was 3. That means just now I updated as the 30, but before that, I mean, you know, within before half minute minus 60 into 5 at specific time. Now if I see before 2 minutes, before 10 minutes, by the time just table has been created and we didn't, by the time we didn't insert. So let me put the 1 minute. So 3, the by the time only deletion happened but update didn't happen. Okay, because if you take the you know, number of days, like, you know, today we have created the data and deleted data, and tomorrow if you check then we will get to know exactly, because here I am taking the time in terms of minutes. That's why we may not see some cases. Okay, now let me take the one of the query id. This query id is for delete statement. Now I want to see the what is the exact value, what are the rows before deleting data from my table underscore 0. So my table underscore 0, before deleting there are 3 rows were there. So after deleting I means two rows only, obviously. So now for that I can use this query id. Okay, this query id. So here if you see after update, so before update 1 and 3, that means delete we didn't take it. Okay, so that we have a two types of history points for this table, and also you can access any particular timestamp. Okay, timestamp you need to specify that one. Okay, please note that, I mean, if the timestamp or offset or statement specified in the at or before clause falls outside the data retention period for the table, the query falls and fails and returns the error which I showed you earlier. So suppose if I put here I want to um, show you that I want to retrieve the data before 20 minutes back data. So here see, time travel data is not available for this table my table underscore 0. The requested time is either beyond allowed time travel period or before the object creation time. By the time I didn't create, I created, I mean, 5 minutes or 6 minutes ago. So that's why you are trying beyond the time. So 6 minutes ago the table has been created but we didn't insert the data into the table. If I put the 5 minutes ago, probably we'll get No, 5 minutes also not yet done. Let me 4 minutes. 4 minutes also not there. 3 minutes. Yeah, 3 minutes ago we, I mean, okay, update also happened by that time. So this is the where we can execute. We can retrieve the data by using the offset for one. Now let me do the cloning for these tables. Now we are going to talk about the cloning for the permanent table. So cloning by you create or replace table name, your new table name, and keyword is the or clause is the clone. After table name, after new clone table name, you have to specify the clone or actual table before the actual table. Okay. Now if you run this one here, this cloning will take care the takes the data at present data. How many records are there in this table? That many records will come and will insert it into this table. Okay. Now, yeah, this is the cloning. Okay. Now here I need to remove this one because we are talking about parameter. We can take, I mean, cloning we can do for any whether it is irrespective of retention period. This is the where we can do the cloning. You can clone the database or schema also. Okay. And also you can clone the data clone the table by using the specific timestamp or specific statement id. Let me clone the data for this one based on this timestamp statement id. Okay. So create or replace clone at my table. Okay. Clone my table 01. See, my table 01 is doesn't exist. Why? 0. Sorry, 0, not 01. Okay, 01. This is the one. Okay, yeah, 0 or 1. Okay, whatever it may be. Yeah. See, by using time travel feature, we can clone the we can basically we have mixed your time travel and cloning feature, both features we have mixed and created the clone. This is all about cloning. Fail safe anyhow, I mean, after this retention period has been over, then fail safe will start, and fail safe we cannot do anything. Snowflake itself will take care of on behalf of us. Okay. That's all about permanent table in terms of persistence and cloning and retention period and fail safe. Now let's jump onto the temporary table, how that looks like. Okay. Now I'm going to create the four tables without first one without specifying date retention time in days and with specifying the different times. Okay. Now let me create. You can create the temporary table by using the temporary keyword or temp abbreviation. Okay. Now I am going to create all the four tables underscore 0 underscore 1 underscore 30. Now let me show you the from information on schema dot tables view. If you see here, four tables we have created for temporary table. Even though if you specify the without specify or specifying the particular days, okay, particular day number of days, here its retention period has been created with all the zeros. But when I while creating, what I mentioned here, for one without, and another one 0, another one 1 and 30 because for temporary table always, you know 0. Okay. And then let me show you the how to do the cloning. So cloning, we can do the cloning, but eventually if you cloning and session whichever is lower, then it will consider. Say example, you know if you drop the table, then based on that you can take the backup. Not drop, I mean, if you do the any insert statements, update statements, how I did the permanent table in the similar way it will work. I have inserted one row in the temporary table. Now let me capture the query id for this. After inserting the data, Okay, now let me insert another value in the example per permanent table. I inserted all the three records at a time and then I did some operations, but here I am doing the insert statements only one by one. Okay, statement has been inserted. Now one row has been inserted. Now I am going to take the query id over here. Okay, now okay, now what I'm going to do, we can take the I mean, how can I say this one, time travel, because time travel is disabled, so no meaning. For this one, what we can do, we can clone the table also. Okay, let me clone the table, create or replace table, clone underscore temp table, clone keyword, then what table you are going to, from what table you are going to take the cloning. Temp table cannot be cloned to a permanent table, because as I said that temp table you can clone temp to temp or temp to transient. So temp table cannot be cloned to a permanent table, as I mentioned in the slide. So clone to transient table instead of, suppose if you can specify the here, create a table temp, or let me create in both. Okay, temp. See, cloning has been done. Okay, or else you can use the transient table. Okay, this is the how. Now let me drop the table and then how to get this table. Okay, have dropped the table and then there is a, undrop. Okay, so if you drop any database or schema or a table, by using the undrop you can get it. Now let me, before undrop, after dropping, let me retrieve the data from this table. Okay, here if see SQL compilation error, object temp underscore my table underscore one doesn't exist or not authorized. Now what I will do, I'm going to undrop table. Okay, now let me execute the select statement. You see here data is there. Okay, that is the, and also you can clone the, create or replace schema name, clone underscore table underscore types is this my schema, and table types is the original schema. You can clone the schema. Okay, here, yeah, I have cloned the schema. So schema clone underscore table underscore time successfully created. Okay, now let me use this schema, we can use, and then whatever you create the objects, those objects will be created under clone scheme. So now suppose if I create any table over here, it will be under clone table. I'm not going to show you that one. Okay, so now let me again go back to my original schema. Now let me see the how this retention period works for the transient table. Create transient table with the time travel retention period in days. So now let me here also I'm going to create four tables without specifying any retention time for one table, and for another table is the 0, and the third table is the 1, and another table is 30. So here if I see, yeah, I have created, see, SQL comparison error, invalid 30 parameter data retention in days. So see, while creating itself for transient table, it is throw the error. That means for transient table 0 or 1. That's why it throw the error. Okay. Now three tables have been created. Now let me show you the what is the value over here. See, if you see retention, okay, transient underscore my table, we didn't specify anything, whereas the 1 transient underscore my table underscore 0, where we specify the 0, it has been 0 only. And we have specified the transient underscore my table underscore 1. For this one we have explicitly specified the 1. So in this case, when you specify the 0, it take the 0 only. When you specify the 1, it take the 1. And you didn't, if you don't specify anything, it will take as the 1, whereas the temporary table, it always 0. Okay, so now yeah, cloning, you can do the cloning. Okay, before doing the cloning, just I'm going to insert the data. I'm not going to talk about this fail safe or time travel, because the same by using the query id or statement query id or you know st- timestamp or offset value. By using three values, you can get the your historical data with the help of at or before. Okay, now I have inserted another row. Now if you see here, let me, you know for this one, let me take the statement id. While cloning, I'm going to use this. Okay, before the statement id. Okay, let me try to, without using the this hard coded value, I'm using the directly here last query, because I executed only insert statement. Apart from that, I didn't do anything, so that it should consider. So transient object cannot be cloned as to a permanent object. As I mentioned that, transient table can clone to transient to temporary or transient to transient. Okay, now let me put here temp. Okay, now I'm cloning the transient table to temporary table. So cannot be used specified time for the time travel. So you cannot use this one. Let me try to, okay, let me try to execute directly statement id over here. In real time, you have to store this value into the variable, and then we can pass that variable. See here, table clone underscore transient underscore my table 1 successfully created. So for transient table also, you can clone. Yeah, so before, because by this time, this is the, I mentioned that before. So before means, here if you see here, this is the id. Before inserting means second row. Second row means only one row available. So here if you retrieve the data, if you see the data from this table, only one row. If you mention the I didn't take the query ID for this one. So otherwise, it would have been, data would have been two rows. If you would have taken the clone the based on this query ID after inserting the first record, the data would have been two records from the clone table. Okay, so this is all about the comparison of snowflake tables in terms of the persistency, time travel, cloning, and failsafe. Failsafe, I mean, as I earlier said, that failsafe is not managed by the users or ourselves. It should be managed by the Snowflake itself. Okay, whenever something goes wrong, okay, then it's kind of hardware failure or okay, anything, then we need to contact with the Snowflake support team. Then support team will help us to get back the our data. Okay, that is from all in this today session. Thank you for watching my video.